Side quite aggressively with these further away. Ariel is investigating. You do need to deal with any CTs if they are close in these positions. Going through the smoke, very unfavorable, and Azza will punish and pick up the AK for his trouble.
High-risk situation there for Ariel. What if you're wrong? If you're wrong, you're dead. LXCB trying to make his way through the A bomb site, but he sees absolutely nothing as they're charging through the smoke now. So many CTs, but a Tracer goes back and forth. 1v3 for Sergey, only for half a second. Renegades prevail. They survive with 3 players moving into the last round of the first half. Really important for them. They need that extra cash. That was a fast one, but a brief one at the same time. 5 rounds on the board. Still a chance for those 6 rounds for Renegades, and maybe that will be enough.
Yeah, I think, you know, if they can show a T side, obviously they won't have quite the T side they had on Mirage in terms of preparedness and comfort, but definitely, you know, 6 rounds is enough to work with on that CT side. But we'll see if they can get that 6th one. Here we go. Final rounds of the first half. They won't have an AWP, the Renegades, but they've also changed their approach pretty dramatically. No aggression outside, because the ENCE were looking for it, but it won't be there. Instead, a more passive and slower approach from Renegades. Looking to get the information is Gratisfaction as he moves towards Secret. Also try to slow them down. J-Chem can play off of Gratisfaction. And there goes the flashbang. That is lethal. J-Chem with the AK finds a fast headshot and falls straight back. No punish possible. That's a good way to take an advantage.
That is a very strong statement from J-Chem. Some late momentum for Renegades in the first half, excuse me. Smoke towards main, but J-Chem will not respect it. Again, he will have a small shadow advantage. You can see one here, LXCB taken out for free. He would have one on the high ground as well, so he'll fade away with that. It's going to be really hard for ENCE to do anything, I think, in this round. X7 just running in for Sergey to trade, but there's no trade. Very awkward angle. Liaz makes it as hard as possible, and Ariel requires an ace now with 44 seconds. On the clock, but J-Chem says no. 6 rounds for Renegades at half-time. A nice comeback late on in the first half.
Yeah, a recovery, and I think you're right, James. You know, there is work to be done here for Renegades. They're going to be feeling a lot better about this new performance than their last one. So we'll have to see if they can do anything about this match, and maybe Chad's prophecy can come true, and they'll get that 2-0. But we will find out after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Can Renegades make a comeback in this second half? Of course, on this map, on Nuke, you expect to see more dominant CT sides, more rounds on that CT sides, but this is the major playoffs. Anything can happen, and Renegades have already showed us that they have definitely woken up on the right side of the bed today because they are hitting some shots. And now they move on to the T side, and let's not forget that T side they had on map 1. Again, sure, it will be more difficult for them on Nuke, but there is definitely a lot of work to be done here, and we'll be starting off with a molly and smoke on Azza. JKS will dump all the nades towards the squeaky door, towards that vent, as it is so common. And then we'll try to investigate with a cursory jab or two from Alu.
Now, this could be a trap. having blown off the door, you have to be worried if you're a CT player. And here is the fake being offered into the A bomb site. Will it pull rotation? X7 will spot a lot of players coming towards the ramp. He backs off. He's got some information. Time to rotate for ENCE, but can he be sure of anything at this point? No frags just yet. Loads of Renegades players moving towards control. The bomb's going to be dropping. X7 trying to fall back to reload. Jacob with 2. X7 trying to do more. 3 from Jacob. Looking for an ace. We've got Sergey coming in from the back and Alu hiding on the site. Renegades holding position now by the double doors, waiting for a response from ENCE.
Going out, he's going to find himself the 4th kill. Sergey takes down JKS, and well, there it is to shut down Liaz, secures it. But what a performance in this round from Jacob with the quad kill.
At half-time, I was saying to Dan that I'm kind of worried if I'm an ENCE fan right now. Renegades with 6 rounds on the board. I don't know, man. They're looking like a better team at the moment, despite the issues they've had historically on Nuke. They've got 6 rounds on the board on their CT side. They've looked more confident, more decisive, and we've just seen better fragging from Renegades overall in this series, and that might be enough for them to find themselves a 2-0. They win the pistol. So now we're in a really interesting situation. The match is paused. Looks like a tech pause at present. There's no buying from ENCE just yet, but again, this is scary.
Yeah, it's extremely scary. Because indeed, as you say, Renegades have put ENCE in the position that ENCE put them in, which is you have this CD side where you want to have the AWP, you want to have all the utility in the world. And now Renegades could just take over the money game, and that makes it a situation where you have to take a series. You get to see that dominance initially from ENCE. JKS shows up.
All right, tech pause has been sorted out, and we will soon be back into the game. It is not going to be the sexiest round. It looks like it's an eco for ENCE, and the match has been paused again, so never mind. Maybe it'll be a slightly... Might be a good day for ENCE fans. It might not be. Renegades seem to be in the driving seat, despite being 2 rounds behind. Of course, they did win the pistol. That's quite nice.
That's beautiful.
Renegades are lined up to deploy some grenades outside. Alu may do some spotting. Now, at this point, there's 1:20 on the clock. ENCE have 1 flashbang. So if they want to make a play around Secret or something like that, or anywhere else, they've got 1 flash with which to do it. Alexi B looks to be deploying it somewhere. Out the flash goes. There we go. But they're not in position to do anything with it. The smokes are up. They've been isolated from their positions, and Alexi B is being taken out. JKS has been traded by Sergey, but you can see the nervousness from Ariel. He has no idea what's going on. He looks like he's in a really nervous situation.
Yeah, the trade is very likely here. Ariel's got a lot of work to do with this M4. They're trying to do what he can, but he can't find anything, looking the wrong direction. X7 will get a trade from Hell, but there's much more work to be done. Down to half health, they know exactly where he is. Gratisfaction takes the challenge, dancing around the crate with the Krieg is a play that will work out, as now it's just 2 remaining for ENCE. As Alu tries to capitalize on the push into Hell, but they just cannot win these 1v1s, James. And now it's up to Sergey. He's picked up an AK, which I believe he stole from JKS, but it's going to be difficult. He'll be going down the vents. They don't... Oh, this Liaz is waiting. And that will be a wrap. Great round from Renegades. And once again, we have this situation. ENCE just couldn't find a way to take the initiative with their utility. It felt like that flash outside had to be more.
That was terrifying to watch from ENCE's point of view. Again, they had almost no utility, fair enough. The flash comes out, but the smoke grenades were in the right place for Renegades. So ENCE weren't able to do whatever it was they wanted to do. But then while the smokes were up, they just seemed to be in bad spots, but not really choosing to move back. Just being in such a deep, committed position and looking in 2 almost opposite directions. Like, that's just terrifying to watch, basically. So they just got picked apart. Renegades putting the scab off the wound, and now rubbing some vinegar in there as well. Sergey with Kevlar and a Desert Eagle will be having a look-see, having a look around. ENCE are at maximum loss bonus. So again, he's just trying to keep that T economy honest as they look to start off on the right foot in the next round.
Nasty.
That's a nice frag. It will draw attention. Got some grenades to limit his options. Gratisfaction doesn't want to go too far. No need to give a 1 versus 1. Okay, unless you're supremely confident and you just don't give a damn, in which case, more power to you. Double figures now for Renegades.
Absolutely. And this round will be very different because ENCE won't feel, I think, the pressure that we had on that previous buy round where they were low on utility to try to get some action happening early on and then just being denied. We're going to see the AWP will see the full amount of utility behind this buy for ENCE. So they're in a position going into this round where they should be very confident and they can play that slow roll approach. Renegades, on the other hand, they're going to realize that too. They understand that they need to, if they have a really good round, James, I think we need to see it here, and Renegades can then assert the momentum of that.
I do wonder if ENCE spent too much money in that eco round, because when you look at the full buy here, they don't have all the grenades in the world. We had to be dropped in AWP because he didn't have enough cash to buy one himself, although X7 is still holding it for the time being. But you can see that there's a few players who are missing some grenades, so I do wonder if they just invested a little too much in that previous round. So maybe X7's playing a spawn. We shall see. He's going towards the ramp with the AWP. And in the meantime, Renegades take position in the lobby. No AWP for them. Gratisfaction does have a scope, however. He's got the Krieg instead. Azza looking to cause some problems outside while Renegades look to focus on the ramp.
Yeah, X7 had that most forward spawn. Oh, there goes the flash. That is beautiful. X7 barely had any time to react to that one. And just that, just like that, $200, boom. You got yourself ramp control, you got yourself the lower bomb site control, and X7 is all he can do to communicate to his teammates, but Renegades are already on top of the site. What a fast-moving round. X7, that's a fantastic shot straight to the face of Gratisfaction. And he will be able to hold on to some of those more forward positions that Renegades really need. The push comes out of the door, and Jacob can't defend it.
That is rude from ENCE. They've got a man advantage. They so need this round, and they need all these players to survive. Azza has time. If ENCE are nervous, they might make a mistake. There are 3 players alive. 2 of them are heavily tagged. You can see Alexi B, I think he's got an elevated position, which will make things more difficult, but still, Azza, that was a bad peak for him, but he still got the kill somehow. 19 HP. 2 more players to find. You see X7 repositioning. Again, ENCE, I don't think they've won a round in this half so far, and this has to be a nervous situation. He could be moving into a crossfire. He's got to be careful. Try and check all the angles. There's a distraction being run, and Ali will deliver the kill, but that extra frag from Azza may go a long way in the future rounds. The score is tied, but it really does feel like all advantages for Renegades at the moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. That extra kill could really be huge, and honestly, it's so scary that individually Renegades are overpowering ENCE in most of the time. As you say, that peak is actually a terrible peak. Like, not only is like a left eye peak versus the right eye peak, you're against an elevated position. So kind of nutty that he picked that one up. But Azza's really showed up to this major.
I did wonder if Renegades would cool off after the break from the previous stage, because they were all running super hot like lava. But here they are, Azza still doing damage towards the end there. And the score is tied, but they do look so much more dangerous. And just the expressions on their faces, yes, not the most expressive necessarily on a good day, but after winning the pistol in the first half, we saw frustrations, at least in the communication, it seems, on the cameras. So I do wonder where their heads are at, ENCE, but they're still in with a chance. 10-10 at the moment. Lexi B on the Mag 7. They've got a better situation in terms of grenades. This might be a fast one into the A-bomb site with a grenade from Azza being lined up. Lexi B's got no idea there's a player behind him. No idea whatsoever. JKS wipes out the A site. This is a disaster for ENCE very, very quickly indeed.
Oh my God, they don't have any money. They actually just have to save. They just have to straight save. In the first 20 seconds of the round, a save is called. That is brutal. What a timing coming in. And indeed, as you mentioned, the Mag 7 not understanding that JKS was so far forward. JKS with those entries, so violent, just swinging through with 2 instant picks. And that's really created problems here for ENCE. Their money, this could be another situation, James, where they're just battling to just have money for the entire half, as we saw on the first map. And we know how that went for them. Ariel, you can see, might be the next player to have contact, trying to hold on to the AK-47. So critical that he holds on to this. And Renegades don't have great money either, so you can see that they are being slightly more conservative, not really committing for the hunt. And there it is, 11-10.
Just like that. Blink of an eye and the round is over. If the T side can keep a CT side living paycheck to paycheck, then there's so much you can do. And it forces the CTs into conservative decisions, into being afraid, into being nervous. Renegades have not allowed, in this entire series, ENCE to have a feeling of comfort, of confidence at all, on either half in any round. One round won by ENCE in this half so far. This is the CT side of Nuke.
Yeah,
we were talking about the shortcomings for Renegades, but look at ENCE.
Absolutely, they are in trouble, for sure. Alu, though, has the AWP looking for that fast play through the door, and it will not happen. Renegades are playing a slower round. They're focusing towards that outside control, and they're also looking for any plays, any forward pushes that could be made for by ENCE. Obviously, there's so many different aggressive setups you can have on the CT side, so many things that you have to worry about if you're a T side to clear. And really, it's just going to be Alu, and how much can he do here? He's got, actually, no, he's got Aerial from main as well, who can offer something, although the smokes will come in to deny information. Aerial is committing himself here. How many can he get? The flashbang comes out. Renegades checking it. That's beautiful work from them. Very cognizant of these forward plays, and now ENCE are in trouble.
No support flashes that I could see for Aerial when he went down there. Ali was smoked off, but I didn't see any utility, just some pot shots to try and run distraction, and there are problems for ENCE again. Just shy of a minute on the clock for Renegades to capitalize on their advantages to pull ENCE out of position. They've got to worry about B. They need to worry about the Heaven position being flanked as well. Renegades still have their options available to them, and how on earth could you possibly try to go down this vent as an ENCE player unless the players towards the ramp are successful? The MP9, maybe they did it. There will be frags elsewhere. Sergey being taken out. There's a quick peek, and Liaz is going to die while the bomb's getting planted. Spray from Gratisfaction. 2 versus 2, doing the best he can, looking for that second player to come through, and it's Alexi by the double doors.
That is so huge that that information just came in the doors there. So Gratisfaction knows where the last 2 players are. He needs JKS to activate to get him out of trouble. JKS needs to push faster. Gratisfaction will be pushed down in the corner, trying to survive for as long as he can, but they don't know where JKS is. Maybe, just maybe, enough time with Sport holding the defuse. There goes JKS! He picks it up, and that is so bad for ENCE. I cannot express it enough. What a save from JKS. Swinging in at the perfect moment. Gratisfaction buying time so that he could actually go and do that to make that play to save the round. And Renegades, James, they move to 12. They're 4 away from 2-0ing ENCE here and making their way to the semi-finals.
This is absolutely crazy. I don't know if there was some confusion in the comms or something, or ENCE were convinced that the player was coming from Decon. Double doors were open for business, and it was 3 kills towards the end of that round for Renegades. And ENCE are in a forced buy situation. They've got almost no utility. They've not had any success really on the outside. Aerial, they may be good for 2. He won't be. Fast moving around now. Alu looking for T's, moving into the A site and moving along the outside, being really careful. You can see the nerves here for ENCE. They've got a man advantage for the time being, trying to keep control of that squeaky door position. It's been blown off, and that might come into play later.
And once again, there's no nades now ready for ENCE at this point. Oh, the miss there is huge. What a huge miss from Alu there. That is a problem. I don't know what you're going to do about that, because now the bomb site's gone. That was a shot that's supposed to connect, deny entry, and now Alexi B swings in, gets punished by JKS, gets caught out of position, and JKS doesn't stop, gets himself a triple in this round. And Renegades, they shouldn't have been able to make that work so clean, James.
ENCE, I don't know if they're having a giant adrenaline dump or what, but honestly, like, the score doesn't tell the story. Look at the half. Look at the half. It is 7 rounds to 1 for ENCE on the CT side of Nuke. They're not having success outside. They're not having success inside. They're being out-aimed. They're being out-fragged. They are being dominated and exploited by the likes of Renegades, who are 3 rounds away from a 2-0.
Oh, you can see how bad that feels. The frustration there for Alu. For me, you know, I really had this series as pretty much everybody else did. I felt like it was just going to be won on the map pool. I felt like Renegades wouldn't match up against ENCE's map pool, and that was going to be a wrap, and that a 2-1 would maybe be the best case. But Renegades here have shown their focus and have shown their preparation, their composure. They had a rough couple months leading up to the major. You could see that, you know, they went down 0-2, James. They managed to fight their way back. They ran it all the way back, and over the course of the tournament, they started to, you know, get rid of that ring rust, started to, you know, really feel out their gameplay. And look at them now, peaking at the correct moment, but it's not done just yet. Although that said, ENCE are in a very weak position now. They're on a save. They do have a few dangerous weapons, but ultimately, they don't really have that much.
ENCE are in so much trouble. They've been in trouble since the beginning of the series, and it has not improved. It has not got better, it's only got worse. Renegades in full control. These rounds haven't been much of an issue. There was a scare maybe once in this series so far, and they deal with it for the most part. Gratisfaction to 180, okay. And there it is. Doesn't matter at this point how many frags you get. It's 14 to 10.
Yep. And this is that spot to the experience starts to be really important. You're about to get it over the line. Everything looks like it's stacked in your favor. Everybody's hitting their shots. You know, the other team looks like they're broken. They're whiffing. The pressure's getting to them. You are in the position where you can just clinch the match. And that's the spot where you have to make sure you don't defeat yourself. But I do think that Renegades, all these players, they have a lot of experience now. They should be good to go, keeping themselves focused until it's the job has been done.
With the consistent performance we have seen of late from Renegades, you do wonder how far they can go. Big round for ENCE. It has to be now. It has to be now. They can't fail anymore. They can't be dominated anymore by the likes of Renegades, who are looking for some kind of aggression. There are more grenades now for ENCE. You can see those grenades around main. They've been such a problem for ENCE to deal with, but this time they won't be in awkward positions on the outside. They won't be isolated, trying to look in two directions at once. Renegades lining up around that squeaky position in the meantime, with angles towards the roof. Alexi B's going to get taken out. They've pulled plays out of position. The flashbangs are still good. Sergey, can he find two? He's got to find two. He does. He keeps it. Keeps him in with a chance. X7's got to be careful. He can't fight to the death. He can't make it 1 versus 3 for Aerial.
Oh, the bomb's gone down as well. Aerial will pick up a frag. X7 swings in at the perfect moment, but now it's down to Azza. He has a lead on the health. He's only got a couple flashbacks, but he has plenty of time. Aerial nails it. Azza's done. And then stay alive for another round in this one, but their money is not perfect, James. And Renegades have very deep pockets, so they're going to be loving it.
That could be a blessing in disguise for Renegades. It's going to be harder for ENCE to defend with less than they had in the previous round. But it seems we do have a crowd here after all. They've been quiet for a while. 3 rounds behind are ENCE. It's not too late to turn things around, but this time they're fighting with pots and pans. MP9s, French guns are out. There are 3 defuse kits on the 5 players. Could be a fast one from Renegades. We've got smoke grenades to isolate Aerial from his position. LXB with the MP9 can't even get a crosshair in the right place. Sergey's in a horrible position. Again, can he find 2? He can't. Look at all the frags. Alu is 1 versus 4 with a minute 35. And he is going to be hunted. Surely Renegades are on the cusp of something great.
Alu will do what he can. Needs to keep this AWP really if he can, and getting a forward kill will be a good way to do it, but there it is, a better peak for Gratisfaction, and 15-11, match point for Renegades, looking at securing a spot in the semi-finals here at the Berlin Major. I think pretty much everybody, except Chad, of course, had them pegged to be defeated against ENCE. Even though, Alexi B is on the way out, it didn't seem to really impact the team and their performance in the stages of the major leading into this. But now we see the weakness, but also, I think more importantly, we see the hard work, the grit, the determination. We see the strength from Renegades, and it is something to witness. I'm really enjoying thoroughly the Counter-Strike that they're showing us.
Tack timeout from Renegades, keeping the focus. The game is not won yet. You're still playing a very dangerous opponent, a very high-ranked opponent, and they're only 4 rounds behind. They've got nothing to fight with, but nothing can be taken for granted. This half has been 9-2 for Renegades. ENCE have gone missing almost all the time. They've been reset every time they've won a round, and there are almost no more rounds to win for them. Only 4 players with SMGs, X7 with a Deagle. You can't have a round prepared for something like this if you're ENCE. Surely, this is it for Renegades.
Yeah, I mean, these are the ones, right, that are very dangerous because the pacing of them can be very quick and very difficult to prepare yourself for. So, Renegades trying to... They had the pause. They know exactly what's coming in this round. They know that ENCE are on the ropes economically. They know that ENCE are going to be buying everything, that there's going to be SMGs, there'll be forward setups, there'll be all kinds of tricks. ENCE have to pull every single trick out of the bag to stay alive. And Aerial will be perhaps the first hurdle for Renegades as they start to progress in the outside positions. Lots of presence shown here from Renegades. No smokes just yet, though. We'll see them thrown across just now. Always trying to mix up the timings of that. There goes the push. Aerial will catch one, pushing out with those smokes from main. There's a chance here for ENCE. In comes Jacob for the punish. Wow, okay, that fair enough. The UMP, the vertical shot works out for Aerial.
40 seconds for Renegades. Alexi B's in a really tough spot to deal with. Liaz has got a pre-fire, a different angle, but he walks through at the wrong time. It's a 5 versus 2. Maybe there was no need to push forward, but how could you expect someone to be there? 30 seconds, and it could be a question of damage at this point for Renegades, because if they take players out, if they stop them from collecting rifles, should they lose the round, then that might be enough for the rounds to come. Oh, Sergey, he's being careful. He's shown presence, but maybe it's best to fall back now with the MP9. 14 seconds remain. They've got to find some players to frag at least. Alu showing some presence, and there's Sergey from the back. And ENCE make it to 12.
All right, so so there's a couple of things going on there, of course. One, again, Renegades perhaps not going to have the cleanest drills when it comes to handling rounds like that. And it seemed like they didn't quite know what to do, especially after losing a fight against Aerial there, when he picked a really good timing to swing out as those smokes came in from Renegades. And then they just slowed down, and the SMGs are so fast moving. However, it feels like they're up against rifles again now, James. They've been successful the whole half against rifles. They should be fine.
Where are the ENCE fans at? You better make some noise for your team if you want them to win. That said, it's not too late to defect to Renegades. I'm sure Chad will forgive you. 1 minute 40. JKS is creeping. Will he be seen in the corner of the smoke? Alexi B's looking for it. He doesn't see him! That's a huge headshot for JKS. Closer to the smoke normally means a disadvantage, but Alexi couldn't see him. He couldn't see him, and it's a big 5 versus 4 for Renegades. That's the advantage they may have been fishing for in a previous round, and maybe it'll be enough this time. Again, it's not too late to defect. Turn your jersey inside out, maybe. But ENCE are still in this. They are still the ones with the map control, despite them being 4 versus 5.
Can you have a handful of flashbangs now, and the push comes in towards that lobby position. X7, he's going to make this huge, but it's absolutely nothing. It's all Renegades there. Alu is all that stands. 4 versus 1. 3 angry Aussies and an angry Norwegian there, ready to take this series against ENCE to push themselves into that semi.